So I built my own Corsair 4000D, thinking that this is a good idea. Why are they charging so much money when I can build it for myself for cheap? I'm not gonna pay someone for a case. I'm just gonna make it. You get some cheap foam board. It's $1 a sheet from like Walmart, dollar store. There you go. For like $4, boom, you got all the materials you need. Build you a case. Then you just need a hot glue gun and a razor blade. Yeah, here's some cheap fans I bought. Antec be like, and so I measuring them, and I'm like, what the hell? Antec fans aren't even flipping square, dude. What planet were they living on? So I lay out some other fans because I'm like, I can't, dude. The Antec fans are like not square. I'm building the front panel here and just cut some dang circles in it, dude. It's not that complicated, okay? I mean, why did I even make a video doing this? It's like, nah. Just a bunch of nonsense, really. Anyway, you slice and dice that thing up, and a little bit of hot glue, a little bit of going crazy. So here I'm like, oh crap, how am I gonna actually mount this thing? I have a graphics card, and I want it to look nice, and so I'm like, oh, here we go. I bought this riser cable. That way I can mount the GPU vertically or something like that. I'm like, but so now I gotta figure out what to do here. I cheated a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Cut out the motherboard tray out of another computer. So anyway, I start working on the back of the PC case. I'm like tracing out. I cut out another panel to try and make it a little bit more sturdy because I guess I don't want it to fall apart. It's one of those things, it's like, oh, this is an amazing idea. It's like, oh no, you start building it, this thing feels like so flimsy and it's gonna fall apart. And I'm just trying to get the basic shape of the computer going here. I still have no idea how I'm gonna mount everything inside of it because it's just freeballing this thing. So anyway, then I start working on trying to make this thing look nice. So I'm trying to measure out this power supply shroud, and then I try to make the motherboard tray, trying to avoid this bit for a while, and ended up using some little Velcro straps. You can say this case is fully modular because I can take out the motherboard tray if I really wanted. So at this point, I cut ahead a little bit. I'm trying to mount up the flipping pump, and if a little bit more planning, I could have had this pump mounted in there way better. So I'm using this trick. I'm using some cheap tubing. It's super not flexible. Heat it up with the heat gun, dude. It goes on there a little easier. And so you can see I got some nonsense going on down there. It's like 90-degree corner right out of the pump and stuff. Filled up the loop. It's not leaking. That's at least one good sign, right? I bought this fan hub for some reason. I'm like, I guess I'll actually use it. Why not? Needed to mount up my 2 drives here, the both SATA. I guess I'm not balling enough. Literally just like hot glued some plates on there to space them off of the motherboard tray a little bit. Glued them right on there because, like, why not, bro? I ended up just putting the radiator in the front. I did not put any fans on the top of the case because 1, I was lazy, and 2, I didn't put in 2 sheets of foam board to make it stiffer, so the entire top of the case is a little flexible. Now this part was like I was waiting for this bit because I'm like, how am I going to do this? Needed to make a GPU mount. And I was like, how do I support this thing vertically without like blocking off the airflow? And so up until this point, I'd say the case is pretty modular. Like you could take parts out and put it in, but the graphics card part's kind of a bunch of nonsense. So I just kind of eyeball a hole in the back because I figure I gotta get this done at some point. So then I'm like, all right, time to finally finish the front. Because at this point, it doesn't really look like the Corsair case really at all. You can't even tell. So I tried to kind of mimic the front panel there where it's basically blocking all the airflow and then whatnot. And then I used some leftover Velcro pieces to attach it to the front. My idea is that, yeah, you could remove it if you didn't want it, or trying to make this thing modular, like even though it's basically one and done kind of deal. And then I'm like, oh crap, I need a side panel, and I didn't have any like clear plastic to put on the side, or especially I didn't have any glass. So here you go, it's like one of those kind of binder page protector things. I don't know what you call it, but cut that apart, put it in the side. But I think you could definitely design a better case that goes along with the foam board a little bit. I thought this was going to be great. I was like, oh, it's going to be a copy of a Corsair case. It's going to be almost identical, but certain things just didn't work out. Turns out foam board is not as strong as metal is, and so I have to build in extra thickness to all my panels, and all of a sudden the inside of my case is suddenly smaller because I'm got extra ½ inch of thickness I gotta account for here because I have to triple up the panels. Another problem is like the case feels really sturdy. I'm not gonna lie. I finished the case. It feels sturdy, but at the same time I'm afraid of picking it up because I'm like, oh my god, this thing could literally just fall apart into pieces. It feels sturdy. Like the whole thing feels really solid. I'm just afraid of like if I pick it up at all, not from the bottom, it's all gonna rip apart and I'm gonna have $1,000 of computer parts just explode onto the ground, which is not great. I wouldn't say building the case was hard, but it sure did take a lot more time than I thought it would be, just trying to put it together. I mean, I think the problem is like the first time you'd ever build one takes a lot longer. If I were to build another one, I think I could do it in less than half the time because I already kind of know what kind of plan I have to do and what kind of layout, because I kind of knew what worked and what didn't. The thing is, you definitely have to give yourself extra space because I ended up with kind of some cramped areas in my build. And there you go. One completed computer case, completely custom, and only cost me probably around $5. I'd say I'd recommend this project if you were looking to build some sort of custom PC case on the cheap. That's one of a kind. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you next time.